It's actually quite difficult to pick a picture out. There's frost everywhere. Every surface has got frost on it. What a morning. Check out the frost. Absolutely fantastic. It's been a while since I've seen frost like this. This is actually quite a hard frost. And interestingly, some of the bushes and trees they're pretty coated with frost as well. In fact, it's almost like a hoar-frost. So I've been watching the weather like I usually do, religiously. And the last couple of days they've been forecasting some cold weather coming. And the forecast for this morning was pretty good. So I decided to get out early. I'm actually struggling quite a bit, because whilst everything looks fantastic to my eye, it's actually quite difficult to pick a picture out. So I've just got to go with what I think looks best. I quite like the look of this. Got sort of a bit of overlapping with the reeds and really nice reflections because it's still very calm. But the light's so flat, I just don't think it's going to work too well. I'm probably better concentrating on close-ups. When so many things look good like they do this morning, it can be really difficult to decide what pictures to go for. And you just got to be honest with yourself. Basically, there might be images you think should be the better ones that you should be taking, but you just got to go with your own instinct. So I've decided I'm going to ignore the wider shots for the moment, because the light probably isn't good enough for it anyway, really, and I'm going to concentrate on some close-ups. Now this has really caught my eye actually. Just looking at these catkins, the difficulty is always in finding the perfect specimen. So amazingly, I've got 3 catkins that are almost in the exact same plane of focus, perfectly lined up, same plane of focus, but I can't quite get the angle I want. So I need to go a bit lower, but if I do that, I've got another twig in the way, and there's some branches behind which is a bit distracting. I've actually decided to move a little closer, and that's basically softening the background. So I've pretty much got the same angle, but the background's a lot better now. Just means that I've got less depth of field. So I've taken a couple of shots, one focusing on the middle catkin and then one focusing on the right hand side. So I've now found a really good clump of oak leaves, and again they're just absolutely covered in frost. So I've set the camera up, so I'm literally concentrating on this one oak leaf here, and it's really good because it's standing completely clear of everything else, no distractions, and I'm able to get a really nice clear background on it. What's amazing this morning is it's just really calm. There's hardly any wind at all, occasionally just a slight bit of wind, but everything's staying very still, so I can get away with quite slow shutter speeds, but I don't want to go too slow just in case there's a little bit of movement. So with that in mind, I'm using ISO 400 to keep the shutter speed about 1/60th. I'll probably go down as well, lower the ISO and try slow shutter speed. And I'm using an aperture of f7.1, which is helping to give good depth of field in the leaf, but it's also keeping the background nice and soft. Another thing I'm doing is just using my homemade silver reflector, and I'm just angling that underneath, and that's just bouncing a bit of light back. So it's very slightly backlit at the moment, which is perfect because it's highlighting the frost and it's highlighting the veins in the leaf. But that does mean that this side of the leaf is in shadow. So I'm just using the reflector just to bounce a little bit of light back. And the reason I was actually drawn to it in the first place is just I really wanted to try and capture the patterns with the actual shape of the leaf and the frost as well, enhancing it. And it's a really nice combination, and a combination of colours as well. So I'm going to try and search and see if I can find a shot that does it justice. I've finally found a composition that I like. It's a little bit more abstract, so I'm using a wider aperture. I'm actually using almost the maximum aperture for this shot, just to completely diffuse the background, go for a more abstract look. These trees are definitely worth taking. Again, everything's just perfectly coated with frost, and they've kind of got this spiky look to them. So again, I'm getting parallel to it, trying to get the camera nice and parallel. Now if I use a small aperture on this shot, it's just not going to work, because that background's going to come into play, and I really want these branches to stand out on their own from the background. So I'm selecting an aperture of f5.6. And when you've got conditions like this, where there's so much white around, almost monotone, it's just really good to look for a splash of colour. So in this image I've got a nice bit of green, adding a bit of extra colour to the shot, and also a bit of extra colour in the background with the oranges from these birch branches. I'm really happy with that shot. It was quite simple, but often the simple shots are the best ones, to be honest. Thanks for watching the video. I'm really quite happy with the shots I took today. Some of them were fairly straightforward, fairly simple, but then I did get a bit of a chance to create some more abstract images, and it is good as a photographer if you can test your creativity a little bit more. That's what it's all about. Join me next time for another nature photography video. If you haven't already subscribed, please click on subscribe, and I'll see you later.